What if I told you that the secret to getting rich wasn't some complicated modern formula, but a set of simple rules figured out thousands of years ago? Well, today we're cracking open that ancient vault. We're diving into the classic book, The Richest Man in Babylon, to uncover timeless secrets that are just as powerful today as they were back then.
And this quote, this is the central promise of the whole book. It's not about luck, it's not about fate. The book argues that building wealth is a skill, plain and simple, and it's governed by a few basic laws. The message is pretty clear. The road to financial freedom is open to literally anyone who just takes a little time to understand the rules of the game.
So, our story begins where a lot of our own stories begin, with a problem. So, let's take a trip back in time to the dusty streets of ancient Babylon and meet the guy at the center of all this. Okay, so this is Bansir, and Bansir is good at what he does. I mean, he's one of the best chariot builders in the entire city. He's not lazy, he works his tail off every single day. But for all his skill, for all his hard work, his wallet is always empty. It's that classic trop, right? He's great at his job, but he's flat broke. Sound familiar to anyone? And this right here, this is the turning point. It's not just about being broke anymore. It's that deep, gut-wrenching frustration of knowing you're capable of so much more. That feeling of rebellion he talks about, that's the spark. That's the exact moment Bansir stops just accepting his situation and starts demanding some answers. So Bansir has this epiphany. He realizes the problem isn't that he's not working hard enough. It's that he has zero financial knowledge. He's an expert at building chariots, sure, but he's a total beginner when it comes to building wealth. He's been playing the wrong game this whole time. So he goes to his friend Kobe, a talented musician who's in the exact same boat. And as they're talking, it just clicks. They've spent years and years mastering their skills, but they've spent exactly zero time trying to master the skill of actually making and keeping money. They never even really tried. So what's the next logical step? Well, you go find a mentor, right? You find someone who's already figured it out. They decide to go find their old friend Arkad, a guy who started with nothing and somehow became the richest man in all of Babylon. Their plan is simple. Walk up to him and ask, point blank, how on earth did you do it? And Arkad, being a pretty great guy, agrees to teach them. He starts them off with what he calls the 7 cures for a lean purse. These are the absolute foundational rules for turning an empty wallet into a full one. And here they are, the 7 pillars. They really cover the whole shebang, from saving and budgeting all the way to investing and planning for the future. But Arkad is very clear. While they're all important, you can forget about success if you don't absolutely master the first 3. So let's really focus on that foundation. And believe it or not, it all starts with this one simple number, 10%. This is the first rule, the most important rule, and the one that is absolutely 100% non-negotiable. And here's the crucial idea. Arkad says, look, we pay the baker, we pay the landlord, we pay literally everyone else before we pay ourselves. This simple idea just flips that whole script. Before anyone else gets a single coin from your earnings, you take your share first, because a part of everything you earn is yours to keep. This is the modern version of that, a really powerful mantra. Pay yourself first. And that 10% isn't just savings. Arkad calls it the seed from which your tree of wealth is going to grow. If you don't plant that seed, no tree can ever grow, period. Now, of course, just planting the seed isn't quite enough. You've got to protect it. And that's the second cure. Control your spending. Arkad makes this great observation that our necessary expenses always seem to magically grow to match whatever our income is. Budgeting isn't about feeling restricted. It's about building a wall around what's yours to keep it safe. Okay, so you've started putting that 10% aside. Now what? Just letting it sit in a dusty old purse or, a modern savings account isn't going to cut it. That's just hoarding. The third cure, this is where the real magic starts to happen. This is how you turn savings into actual wealth. So, using the language of his time, Arkad gives us this incredible metaphor for investing. Every single dollar you save is like a worker. Your goal is to put that worker to work earning more dollars, what he calls its children. Then you put those children to work and they start having children. This isn't just saving anymore. You're building an army of money that works for you 24/7. And this chart, This shows you the mind-blowing result. That first little bar on the left, that's your initial seed money. Now look what happens when you put it and its children to work. By year 10, it's grown nicely, but then look at the jump to year 30. It's massive. The growth goes vertical. It isn't just adding up, it's multiplying. That is the power of compounding. That's the engine that builds fortunes.
So once you've actually started building up some treasure, you need to know how to protect it and grow it without doing something stupid. And that brings us to ARCAD's next lesson, the 5 laws of gold. Now you'll notice the first 2 laws are basically just reminders of the cures we just talked about. Save your money and put it to work. But laws 3, 4, and 5, oh man, these are the ones that are going to save your skin. They're all about managing risk. Get advice from smart people, stick to what you know, and if a deal sounds too good to be true, run away. Fast. And you know, what's really great is that ARCAD admits he wasn't perfect. He tells them his first big investment was a total disaster. He gave his entire first year of savings to a brickmaker to go buy jewels. A brickmaker! The guy knew about bricks, not gems. Of course, the money was lost forever, and ARCAD learned a very painful and very expensive lesson about expertise. This slide just lays it out perfectly. You got 2 paths. On the left, the wise path. You talk to experts, you protect your money, and you aim for slow and steady wins. And on the right, you've got the foolish path, trusting people who don't know what they're doing and getting lured in by get-rich-quick schemes. One path builds lasting wealth, the other one almost always leads straight to zero. So, after all these stories and all these laws, what's the single most important thing you need to do to get started? ARCAD boils it all down to one simple, powerful first step. This is ARCAD's final advice to his friends, and really, it's his advice to us. It all starts with a mental shift. You have to truly, deeply believe that a part of what you earn is yours. Once you're filled with that thought, the action is easy. You take that portion, at least a tenth, and you put it aside. First. Always. You know, in the end, that's the timeless secret of Babylon. Wealth isn't built with some crazy, complicated scheme. It grows from one tiny seed, planted over and over and over again. All the financial plans in the world don't mean a thing without that simple first step. So the only question left is the one on the screen. When will you plant yours?